In this episode, we're tackling a question that can spark debate. Is sales training really worth it? If you're a sales manager, general manager, or business owner, your role will be multifaceted, and I'm sure that you wear many hats. You're not just driving revenue, but also fostering strong team culture and trying to maintain solid customer relationships on top of everything else. If you're like me, you might even be active with customers, as I once was, as a sales manager. So for you, the big question: why is sales training so crucial? And what are the consequences of neglecting it? And if not neglecting, delaying it? To get the best out of this episode, as we discuss each main point, I'll be pausing to ask you a question, which is a self-assessment. So go ahead and grab something to take notes with and answer these questions to work out how your team is doing in each area and where you might be able to improve. So let's dive in. First, we're going to talk about the impact on revenue. So investing in sales training has a direct correlation with increased revenue. When your team is well trained, it's not just about closing deals. They start taking advantage of every opportunity that comes their way. They are super clear on each step of your sales process and know exactly what needs to be done to ensure that those sales targets that are being set are consistently being met. Now, if there is a gap between their performance and the sales target, they have an action plan in terms of how they're going to bridge this gap and what is the right level of activity that's needed. Now, what happens when training is delayed for too long or neglected? Well, the answer is simple. The team start to miss opportunities. Any of the leads that your marketing team might be generating are not maximized. Teams slowly start to rely on outdated, old techniques and struggle to keep up with competitors or market headwinds. And this struggle often translates into lost sales and decrease in revenue. So here's that first question for you. How much do you think missed opportunities are really costing your company? We're going to talk about how teams can adapt in a dynamic market. The sales environment is anything but static. It's constantly being influenced by new trends, technologies, and shifting customer behavior. Think about how buyers were buying before COVID versus post-COVID. It's very different. A well-trained team is adaptable, so they can pivot their sales strategies to meet these market demands. Now, without ongoing training, your team might find themselves stuck with old product-centric approach, one that has become quickly obsolete. Here's that second question for you. How well have your salespeople adapted to market shifts? Let's now talk about culture and morale. Peter Drucker said that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And what he means by this is that no matter how great your strategy, your plan will fail without a company culture that encourages your people to put it into place. A strong sales culture is the backbone of any high-performing team. Training fosters a culture of continuous improvement and resilience. It builds winning attitudes where challenges are viewed as opportunities for growth versus roadblocks. Now, without training, your team can feel stuck. This leads to low morale and disengagement. And so what this means is that when morale is low, your customer relations and your customer experience tends to suffer. Okay, time for question 3. So how clear are your teams with your company goals, values, and reputation, as in what they should and shouldn't be doing with your customers? Let's now talk about customer relationships and customer retention. Client relationships are the lifeblood of sales and any thriving business. even more so in our smaller New Zealand economy. Gone are the selling days where you could rest on having access to product knowledge or the product itself. Sales training equips your teams with both soft and hard skills needed to build trust, to handle objections, and most importantly, how to articulate value. This is what you can utilize to charge more money. All of this is crucial for fostering long-term customer value, customer loyalty, and repeat business. Without this foundational knowledge, your customer relationships can slowly start to deteriorate. You become a transactor, and this starts to lead to a loss in business, and it tarnishes your reputation. So question 4 for you is, are your customers receiving the right level of service that will have them coming back again and again? We're now going to go to consistency of sales process and onboarding. Now, consistency is key, especially when it comes to bringing on new sales employees. A structured sales training program ensures that everyone on your team is on the same page. Everyone's working towards the same standard of performance, and they deliver the same level of customer experience. You want this because at some point your primary salesperson might be away, on leave, or sick, and when someone else looks after a client, does that client get the same level of professionalism? Now, on the flip side, inconsistent and ad hoc training approaches can lead to confusion, inefficiencies, and misalignment of goals, not only with other divisions within your company, but the company goal itself. Now, this gets exponentially worse as your team starts to grow and you have team members that join with different skills, experiences, and tenure. So question 5 for you is, how clear is your team on a consistent, logical approach to your sales process? And do they have access to this when they first join? We're going to talk about resiliency and long-term success. Sales can be a tough field, filled with highs when we win and lows when we don't. Training is essentially building resiliency. It gives your team the tools they need to bounce back from setbacks and to keep pushing forward in hard moments. It's not just about closing the next deal, it's about creating a sustainable, repeatable, successful process that can be used over the long term. And so here is a final question for you. How resilient is your team? And do they have the support and training needed to thrive even in challenging times? We've talked about what are some of the benefits and negatives for sales training for your team. In conclusion, the value of sales training extends far beyond immediate performance improvements. It's an investment in your team's ability to maximize every opportunity and to adapt to changing markets. They thrive in the name of self-improvement. It allows the team to forge lasting relationships with your customers and set high-performing benchmarks with consistency to drive long-term success. The consequences of delaying training or not training your team means risking missing opportunities that are right in front of you. It might mean low team morale if they're struggling. It'll put strain on your customer relationships and provide inconsistent performance, all of which can far outweigh the cost of training your team. As a leader, you have the power to shape your team's future. Will you choose to invest in their growth, or will you let the cost of inaction hold them back?